Everyone, I'm Kalyani and I would like to present my AI chatbot project called Nova AI. Nova AI is a conversational web application built using Python Flask for the backend, Grok API for generating AI responses, and SQLite for data storage. In this, I would like to explain the project structure, the workflow, and the backend implementation, and also demonstrate the application with a live demo. And let's get started. Let me begin by explaining the project structure. The first file is app.py. This is the main Flask application which initializes the Flask server, and also it defines all application routes, and it mainly handles incoming requests from the front end, and it streams AI response back to the user. Now the next file is chatbot.py, which is responsible for communicating with the Grok API. It prepares the conversation context and sends the request to the language model, and then it receives the AI generated response. Now the next file is storage.py. This module manages all database operations using SQLite. It creates the required tables and it stores conversations, messages, and retrieves conversation history, and we can delete the conversation whenever required. Now this templates folder consists of index.html, which represents the main user interface, and the static folder consists of style.css and script.js. Style.css is responsible for application's appearance and responsive design. And now script.js contains the front-end logic and communication with the backend. The database file stores all conversations and messages, and the requirement.txt contains all project dependencies. And now let me explain the overall workflow of the application. Now let us start the overall application of front end. The workflow begins when a user enters a input in chat field, then clicks the send button. The front end captures the user input and send it back to the backend through an request. So once the backend receives the request, it receives the previous conversation history from the SQLite database so that AI can generate context-aware responses. Now the complete conversation is forwarded to Grok API, where the language model processes the request and generates a response. Now instead of waiting for the entire response, the backend streams the output token by token using server-sent events. Now the front end receives these streamed tokens continuously and updates the chat window in a real time. Instead of giving a output once a time, it will AI generated response. It will be in a smooth and typing experience for the user. So this enables user to revisit previous conversations and search their history, and also continue conversations or delete them whenever required. Now let us see backend application. The project uses Flask as the backend. In app.py, the Flask application is initialized and all application routes are defined. So whenever a user submits a message, the backend receives the request, then it retrieves the conversation history from the database, and it forwards to the language model, and so that the model can understand, and then it streams the generated response back to the front end. Now chatbot.py is responsible for integrating with the Grok API. The API key is securely loaded using variables. Now the conversation history is formatted and sent to the language model. Then the model generate intelligent responses, and it can streamed by token to provide a natural experience for the user. Now storage.py, it is responsible for SQLite database operations, where it creates the necessary database tables if they do not already exist. Now, every conversation and every message is exchanged between the user and the AI, which is stored in the database. Which this allows the user to revisit previous charts and even after refreshing the restart application. Now, let us start the application. Now, let me show the demonstration in live. Now this is how the user interface looks. On the left side, we can see the conversation history where the main section displays the active conversation. At the bottom, there is an input field where users can enter their questions. Now let us see it live. I would like to ask a question. After submitting the message, the request send it to the Flask backend. The backend forwards to the Grok API. As you can see, the response is streamed in real time instead of appearing all at once. This provides user a smooth and interactive user experience. Now, I would like to create a new conversation. As you can see, the application automatically creates a new conversation and stores it in the database. Now I can also search previous charts like so this search functionality allows user to quickly uh, go back to the previous conversations. Now let me open any old chart. This is how selecting a conversation immediately and loads the stored messages in the old chat. Now we can also delete a chat. Now the conversation is deleted. This feature makes the application responsive and organized. Now let us see the GitHub. Now before concluding, I will explain you the GitHub repository. It contains all the complete source code along with the files required to understand and run the application. The README provides a detailed overview of the project, including its features, tech stack, project structure, and execution and steps and execution configuration. Now the repository is organized in a clean and structured manner, making it easier to understand for everyone. It includes backend implementation, front-end files, database modules, and dependency list. Overall, it serves a comprehensive reference. Now to conclude that Nova AI is a full stack conversation AI web application which is built by using Python and Flask and Grok API and also SQLite, which application includes real-time streaming responses, persistent conversation history, search functionality, responsive design, and clean user interface.